I'd really like to see the whole nobody is above the law. I would like to see that applied equally. I think right now, like bang for buck policy wise, I think a really great something that would go over well with everyone is bringing back like the legit rule of law because this latest woman Lisa Cook with the governor on the Fed board, uh, this lady with mortgage discrepancies, and Adam Schiff and Letitia James, and what's funny is this woman Lisa Cook, she's using the same defense Donald Trump used, as in like, hey, I paid the mortgages back. The banks could sue me. That's what she's trying to say. Oh well, I'm currently paying the mortgage back, and this two-tiered system of justice, we have it over here too, as well as England or the UK or Britain. We definitely have it over here. The rules for thee, not for me. The Democrats, they have installed so many of their little puppets in all these different prosecuting offices that it seems like nobody that's a Democrat. I mean, they are just so blatantly committing crimes, and they're cheating the system. And these are the people that so sanctimoniously talk about taxing the rich and how these crooked billionaires who have earned their money rightfully, but they cast them as these villains for earning money rightly, or for using, like Donald Trump said, get rid of the tax loopholes, close them if you don't like them, but don't complain about them until you close them. And they're the ones that bitch about these loopholes, and then not only, I'm sure they use all the loopholes, but then they straight up cheat. They straight up commit crimes, to skirt around, over money, over petty amounts of money. And it seems a lot of times they're black, they're Democrat, and they just seem to get away with everything. And what I think should happen, and if it did happen, you would see. I think you would see the government's approval rate go much higher. Is they need to get in there and level the playing field for everyone. That goes for the laws. Like Adam Schiff, Letitia James, Lisa Cook. They need to be prosecuted for this, because if anybody else did that stuff, any Republican or conservative did that. They look, conservatives are like Clarence Thomas. He's under a microscope, for goodness sakes. And come to find out, and all of these podcasters are getting paid under the table by they're Democrat apparatchiks, basically, running podcasts, but not disclosing that they're taking money from these people, and they're acting sanctimonious while they do it. But also, all the grants and all the money that our government doles out to people to start a farm, or to this, go to school, or for this other thing, they all exclude one person or one type of person universally: straight white males or white males. If they did away with that and made it equal to where everybody was treated equally under the law, if I wanted to get a grant to start a farm, that being a white, that there were no disqualifiers. If I wanted to start a farm and I could, I had time in the business and could show that, I might be able to make a go of this. And there are hundreds of other grants that, or millions or thousands probably, I'm sure. But and they all exclude white males. Some of them are gender based, where men don't get it. So even some black men, or other ethnicity, the males get screwed too. And the same thing with the whole family court system. If they went through and righted these wrongs, and I just rattled off like 10, it seems, or at least a few. The family courts, uh, all start enforcing the law, and especially with these Democrats, go in and make and all these different grants and opportunities that the government offers. Uh, Either white males should be just as eligible as everyone else, or nobody should be eligible, or at least let's find some real a good reason to discriminate, not this arbitrary. Oh, you're a white male. Well, that excludes. That's so arbitrary. Like it just totally discounts whether or not that entire the entire demographic of white males, if like any of them have an actual legitimate, a legitimate claim to be asking for it. They don't even get that far. Just you're a white male. Sorry, you're not. You don't qualify. It seems like being a white male, the only thing that does qualify you for is dying in a war. That you are qualified to do in quantities that far outnumber that demographics percentage of the whole pie. And I feel like men were such a big chunk of the voting bloc and of the country, and then white men as well. And for years now, they've been holding, I don't even want to say holding us down, but they most certainly have been hanging sandbags on our shoulders or giving other people a leg up. Let's put it that way. They're giving other people a leg up. People that want to start a business, they can go borrow money from the government. Like women. That's why so many women have businesses and stuff, and they're like these little boutique shops, and they don't. I can't say for 100%, but I guarantee you, a lot of those women, they haven't saved money. I've seen many of them that are young. They know exactly what they need to, what they have to do. All they need to do is go knock on Uncle Sam's door, and it's the same way with minority men. Same thing. Although I'm not sure if they, they don't seem to do it as often as women. But if we really did have a colorblind society, as in like Lady Justice, if she was blind, like the damned, all the statues, and those are American ideals, because the whole Lady Justice should be blind, that started, with the founders. They were the ones, those were really, really new ideas. But if they just stuck to that, I would feel so much better about my country. I would feel much prouder of my country, that I'm not a sucker. That's how I would feel better in that respect. That I'm not just a sucker for doing it the right way. Like, am I an idiot for not claiming to be gay or to be trans and claiming benefits? Am I just an idiot for not doing that? I don't think so. I don't think it's right to do so. But, not everybody has my principles, and that's the problem. Is the government is all too willing to give money out if people stick their hands out. I don't stick. I mean, I don't have my hand out, and some people do need it, but a lot of people are just taking advantage of the system, and it makes you feel, like it makes it all seem so pointless. That I work hard, pay taxes, and many benefits that the government provides are not available to me, even though I paid the taxes. That's really the root of what I'm trying to say. Is like, the government is doling out all these benefits to Palestine, to Ukraine, to Israel, to every country on the planet Earth gets aid from us practically. Like this, that's the whole point of Donald Trump, is he's righting these wrongs, but everybody gets aid. Canada gets aid. Mexico gets aid. Black people get aid. Women get aid. Immigrants get aid. Immigrants, people that are illegally here get aid. Get put up in hotel rooms. Get Xboxes and debit cards slapped full of the money that we pay into it, and it's so disheartening. It's so disheartening, and I just think it would go a really long way if we got back to a merit-based system. At least, at the very least, if you're going to dole out stuff, at least, like a bank does before they give out a loan, they do some research, make sure they're not getting, it's not a fraud. They're not being, taken for a fraud. And that's one thing that Doge really showed us, is that there is a lot of people that see us as a mark, as suckers, as easy, to get one over on. And gosh, that stuff really chaps my ass. And I'm sure, I would imagine you guys feel the same way. It's not right. Either everyone gets it or no one gets it. What happened to those days? Like when I was in school and you pull out a stick of gum and the teacher points at you and says, "Do you have one for everybody?" What the hell happened to those days? I know life isn't fair, but when it comes to the government, which we all pay into and pay taxes to, why is it that we get the short end of the stick? Why? Why can't we? Okay, I'm not eligible for all those things. Can I get a voucher? Can I get a voucher? You know what I'm saying? Can I get a voucher for all of the things that everybody else, all of the goodies, that they get, and all the women, they get access to all the same shit, but they no what is it, selective service signing up at 18, none of that BS, all of the goodies, all of the benefits of being an American, but none of the responsibilities. And that right there, that is, in my mind, it is a grave wrong that needs to be righted. We're all being, a lot of us are being screwed. A lot of us men, a lot of us white men, we're being screwed. We're being taken for a ride. And, I don't like to be taken for a ride. I don't like to be swindled. And I feel like I'm getting swindled with this state of affairs. And if you want your society to collapse, make it so that men, get nothing from society. Put men at the bottom of the totem pole, at the bottom of the pyramid. Your society's going to collapse because men uphold that society. Your cops, your military, most of the government work, or at least the politicians, the people that build everything. Make it to where men can't, if they feel like they can't win, and you will destroy your society. Make it so that men feel like they can't get ahead, or everybody, that everybody else is getting all this special attention for doing the bare minimum, like just like women complaining that about paying bills and stuff, and upset that their EBT gets cut off, and it's like, yo, fuck you, like I've never gotten EBT, and and also they want accolades, and they want a pat on the back from us for paying for themselves to live. And it's like, you realize, like, and I hear all the time when people are complaining about a lot of stuff, I'm like, if there was no government, if you're out in the woods by yourself, and this was 1,000 years or 5,000 years ago, like, you would have to work to stay alive. There is no free lunch. Like, and people say, oh, people have a right to food all over the world. Oh, people have a right to food. And I'm like, no, they don't. That's like saying, you're out in the woods and you're just going to scream at the ether, where's my food? Where's my food, ether? God, how dare you? Where is the manna? Where's my manna for the day, God? What the hell? You know? Why do I have to start behind the eight ball? Why can't I at least start neutral for every day? That's not how it works. Like, you don't have time for shit unless you can satisfy your basic needs. And it's just people take that for granted, but we're not allowed to take that for granted. We're not allowed to take it for granted. And that is what really, that's the whole nom de plume. That's like my entire the whole point of this channel is to point out the double standards and how we're getting the short end of the stick, pretty much just in a 360 degree in every direction. We're getting the shit end of the stick. I mean, tell me where I lied. Tell me where I'm wrong here. That we're not the ones that literally, the Titanic's going down. Yeah, you got to go down with it. Oh, we're in a war. Like Ukraine's, they found out the tough way. Oh, we're in a war. You go to the front line. Oh, you need help. Oh, what sex? What's your sex? Oh, male. Oh, sorry. We can't help you. You're an able-bodied male. And all I'm saying is, like the black people say and the young people say, you have this energy when it comes to white men, or they have an energy for everybody else and an energy for us, and they're two different energies. When it comes to everybody else, they want to help. They want to give out goodies. They want to give away our money. But when it comes to us, it's the exact opposite. They turn into skinflints. They don't want to give us a damn dime. They don't pander. I mean, at least if they pandered to us, we could at least say, well, at least they're trying. Like Kamala Harris, remember she said she's going to give them stimulus to start weed businesses, and just at least she was pandering to them, though. Like, at least they make the overture. At least there is a token effort. We don't even get that, man. We don't even get that. We don't warrant that. It's like we should just be grateful that we're allowed to work for a living. That we're allowed the freedom to feed ourselves and to collect the wages earned from our labor. That we should just be grateful for that, or be grateful that they're not taxing us 100%, because we get, I mean, and I get it. There's no point. There really is no point in complaining about it. But everybody else, they get all these goodies because the squeaky wheel gets the grease. And the way I look at it is, sometimes you need to hear things put in a certain way, or you need to hear things from a certain angle, or somebody needs to just tally up all the, everything that's kind of all the different data points and give it to you all at once before you realize, he's got a point there. Like, that's kind of where my mind is at with this. That perhaps not, perhaps people know about one thing or the other, or they know about it all, and they're not tying it all together. They're too close to it or whatever. They're missing the forest because the trees are in there, or they're missing the trees because the forest is in the way. Whatever the hell they do, but like that's kind of what because I know complaining does no good. Truly, nobody likes a whiny bitch. Like just it's life's tough for all of us. Just move along. You don't need to add your complaints on top of it. But I think we do have a legitimate grievance here. We do. These are legitimate grievances. And all I'm saying is, what's good for the goose is good for the gander.